fluid mechanics. So today we are going to start new module, that is module 5, which is flow through pipes. So here you are going to study the introduction part of the flow through orifice, and after that you are going to study the different losses which occurs in the pipe, so that is major and minor losses. And after that you are going to study the very important derivation, that is Darcy's-Weisbach equation for head loss due to friction in pipes. And after that you are going to study pipes in series connection and pipes in parallel connection, and the equivalent pipes, what is equivalent pipe you are going to study. And after that minor loss equation you are going to study. So like this we are going to discuss the concepts one by one. So in today's class we'll just see the introduction part of this flow through orifice. So first, what is pipe? See, pipe is nothing but it is a closed conduit which is used to carry fluids under pressure. Okay, so pipe is nothing but it is a closed conduit which is used to carry fluids under pressure. And coming to the cross section, see, the pipe will be always circular in nature. So commonly the pipe cross section will be circular. And how the flow will be occur in these pipes? See, as the definition says, pipe is a closed conduit, so which is used to carry fluids under pressure. So the flow inside the pipe will be full, means the pipe runs full. So it always, the flow inside the pipe always it will be flow, because the fluid are under pressure. Okay, so as the definition says, pipe is a closed conduit which is used to carry fluids under pressure. The flow inside the pipe will be always full. The pipe will always run full, so because of the pressure. So for example, if you consider a sewer pipes or sewer line pipes, see, in case of sewer pipes, so it will be partially full, so it will be running half. So in case of sewer lines, the flow is half, means which is nothing but, so those pipes will be partially full. And also because the pressure will be taking place at atmospheric pressure. The pressure will be atmospheric pressure in case of sewer pipes. So this concept, so we are going to study in open channel flows. So that sewer line pipes so comes under flow through open channels. See what happens once the fluid flows under the pipe. See, once the fluid flows inside the pipe, what happens to the flow? See, while flowing, this fluid will be subjected to certain resistance. So due to the shear forces between the fluid particles. So as you see, the fluid will be made up of number of particles. So while these fluid particles moving, so one particle will be moving in this direction. So but whatever the particle which is present below that, so that layer of fluid will offer resistance for the upper particle. So similarly, so one particle will be moving like this, other particle will be moving in the opposite direction. So between that there is a shear force exists between these two particles. Okay, so if it is moving like this, so this particle will be moving in this direction. So between these two particles, so there will be a shear force is going to exist, and due to that, so whatever the fluid which is flowing inside the pipe, so will be subjected to certain resistance. So and also, so whatever this pipe material is there, so between this pipe material and the fluid particles, so there also this resistance will exist. So that resistance is called a frictional resistance. So what is frictional resistance means? See, whatever the fluid flowing in a pipe, so it will be always subjected to resistance. So because of the shear forces which is going to develop between the fluid particles and also these walls of the pipes, due to shear force, that resistance is due to shear forces between fluid particles and the walls of the pipe. So this resistance is called frictional resistance. So what is frictional resistance? See, once the fluid flowing inside the pipe, so those fluid will be subjected to a resistance, so which is due to the shear forces. So how the shear forces is going to develop? See, as you see, the one particle will be moving in this direction, the other particle will be moving in the opposite direction. So this forms a shear force. Okay, between these two particles, shear force is going to develop. So that is between the fluid particle and also the walls, as I told. So between the wall and this fluid particle. So that due to that shear force, the resistance, it will resist the flow. If the flow is taking place in this direction means, so the other particles will resist the flow of the above particles. So that resistance is called a frictional resistance. And what happens due to this frictional resistance? Once the resistance developed due to this frictional resistance, so there will be a losses is going to occur. That is, the loss of energy is going to occur. So due to this frictional resistance. So here, so whatever the loss of energy, or we can say the loss of head. Okay. So it may be loss of energy or loss of head. So that loss which is occurred due to the frictional resistance, so that depends upon the type of flow, whether the flow is laminar, turbulent, so like that. So this loss depends upon the type of fluid. If the flow is turbulent, the loss will be and if the type is laminar flow, then the loss will be different. So the type of flow may be laminar flow or turbulent flow. And this type of flow, whether it is a laminar or turbulent flow, so that is decided based on the Reynolds number, that is Re. So if Re, the Reynolds number, if this Re is less than 2000, then the type of flow is a laminar flow. Suppose if Re is more than 4000, then it is a turbulent flow. So the type of flow is determined based on the Reynolds number. So that is, if it is less than 2000, then the flow is laminar, and if Re is more than 4000, then it is turbulent. If it is lies between 2000 to 4000, then that is called a transitional flow. Okay. So due to the frictional resistance, what happens? The loss of energy or the loss of head is going to occur. So now, we have to determine what is this loss of energy or loss of head which is going to occur in a pipe. So for that, the next topic which we are going to discuss, so what are the different types of losses which is going to occur in a pipe. So the next topic is loss of energy or loss of head in pipes. Okay. So how this losses occurs? So when the fluid starts flowing inside the pipe, so when the fluid starts flowing inside the pipe, so what happens? The fluid, whatever this fluid is there, so that will experience certain resistance. Okay. So which is due to the shear forces which is going to develop between the particle and this wall. Okay. So due to that resistance, what happens? The loss will occur. So the resistance between what? Between fluid particle and wall of pipe. Okay. So that is that to shear force which is going to develop between the fluid particle and walls of the pipe. The flow resistance will exist. Due to that resistance of flow, the loss of energy is going to occur. So now we are going to discuss what are those different losses of energies. So this loss of energies can be classified into majorly we are going to classify into two types. So the first one is major energy losses and the second one is minor energy losses. See, what are these major energy losses and minor energy losses means? See, major energy losses are the losses which is going to occur between the fluid particle and the sides of the pipe. So due to the friction. So this major energy losses are the losses due to friction friction between the particles and this wall. Okay, so due to the friction between the fluid particle and the walls of the pipe, so the loss is going to occur. That losses is called the major energy losses. So major energy losses are the losses due to friction between the fluid particle and walls of the pipe or sides of the pipe. And here, so this major losses is determined. So we have two equations to determine this major energy losses. So which are, the first one is Darcy-Weisbach formula, and the second one is Chassis formula. So these are the two formulas which are used to determine the major energy losses. So similarly, so the next type of losses, which are nothing but the minor energy losses. So those are the losses which is due to, so the second one is the minor energy losses. So those are the losses due to sudden expansion, sudden contraction, sudden expansion and contraction in pipe, and gradual expansion and contraction and entry losses, exit losses, and if there is any obstructions in pipes, so the losses which is going to occur due to those obstructions, and also pipe bends. So the losses which is going to occur, so due to the bend in pipe, so those are all comes under minor energy losses. So I'll just write the figure. You can see when this minor losses is going to occur. See, for example, if there is a bend in pipe, see this is a pipe, so if the pipe has been bent, so those losses are the minor losses, and due to the sudden expansion and sudden reduction, in sudden increase in the diameter, sudden decrease in the diameter, and also gradual expansion and similarly gradual reduction. So all those losses are minor energy losses. So next topic you have, so we'll just discuss. So the first type of loss in detail, that is major energy losses in pipe flow. So the next you have, so major energy losses in pipe flow. See what happens once the fluid starts flowing inside the pipe. So what happens to the flow? So once once the fluid starts flowing inside the pipe, the velocity of the fluid layer adjacent to the walls of the pipe will be 0. For example, this is the wall of the pipe. Okay, so as we know, we have a particles, fluid particles. See, these are the fluid particles. So what happens to the velocity of these particles? See, whatever the particles which is present next to the walls, okay, so these particles, for these particle velocity will be 0. So when the fluid starts flowing inside the pipe, so the velocity of the fluid which is adjacent to the walls of the pipe, the fluid particle, this is a layer of fluid, what we can say. Okay, so fluid will be made up of layers of the fluid particles. So if we consider this is the wall, so whatever the particles which is the layer of fluid particle which is present next to the wall, so the velocity of these particles will be 0. And this velocity will go on increase from this wall. So here it will be 0, and if it comes to the second layer, so the velocity will be 1 meter per second, and later 2 meter per second. So like this, from this wall, so the velocity go on increases like this. Okay, so it will go on increases like this. So from 0 to maximum velocity. So at the top of the fluid flow, so the velocity will be maximum. And what happens? So hence, so due to this relative velocities means, so change in velocity from one layer to another layer. So there is a velocity change from this layer to this, and again here from this layer to this layer there is a change. Okay, so due to this relative velocities, so what happens? Due to the change in velocities from layer to layer, so what happens? Shear stresses will produce. So shear stress is going to develop, so within this liquid. So why that stresses is going to develop? Due to the viscosity. So hope you remember what is viscosity. So viscosity is a property. So it is a property of fluid which resists the flow. Property of a fluid, so which it resists the flow of a liquid or fluid, or simply we can say it is the resistance to flow. So as there is a change in the velocities from one layer to another layer, so shear stresses is going to develop, and due to that shear stress is basically, so that shear stress is going to develop within this entire liquid, and that stresses is due to the property of the liquid which is viscosity. So and due to this viscous action means, so the resistance action, as I told, so this particle will be moving in this direction. The layer or the fluid particle which is present below the, see as you see here, so in this figure, see this first will same it as first layer, second layer, third layer. So if the third layer particles are moving in this direction, then the second layer particles will try to resist that flow of the third layer. So what the particles will do means, see whatever these particles which is moving in this direction of flow, so the particles which is present below that layer, I will show you here. So the particles which is present below the top layer, So this particle will try to resist the movement of this first layer. So that is called the viscosity. So that is called the viscous action. So due to that viscous action, that viscous action, what happens? The loss of energy is going to occur. So that losses is called the frictional losses. You can see here from layer to layer there is a friction is happening. See, this is moving in this is moving in this direction. The below layer is trying to resist the movement of this layer. So it is trying to resist the movement of this layer. So while resisting, what happens? The friction is going to develop between this. That is called the frictional losses. That is the viscous action. So that's why the loss of energy or head due to friction is known as major losses. So major loss can be defined as it is a loss of head or loss of energy due to the friction in pipe. So next you have Darcy's-Weisbach equation, which is a very important derivation. See, once we understood what is the major energy losses, so now we have to calculate what is that major losses. We have to find out what are the major losses. So as I have told previously, so we have two formulas here to determine these major losses. The first formula is Darcy's-Weisbach formula. The second one is, first one is, see this major losses is determined by, so the first formula is Darcy-Weisbach formula, and the second one is Chassis formula. So we'll see what is this Darcy's-Weisbach formula to determine the major energy losses. So next topic you have the very important derivation, so that is Darcy's-Weisbach equation for head loss due to friction in pipes. So we'll derive this equation. So for a head loss due to friction. So for that, so here to derive this Darcy's-Weisbach equation, so first we'll consider a horizontal pipe. Okay, so we will consider a horizontal pipe. So this is a horizontal pipe what we have considered, and here, so the pipe hasn't, so we have considered horizontal pipe, so which has a cross sectional area A and carries a fluid, so with a velocity V. Okay, so this is the direction of flow. Okay, so V is the velocity of the flow, and the area of this pipe what we have considered is A and velocity is V. So here, so whatever the horizontal pipe we have considered, so the D is the, see D is the diameter of the pipe what we have considered, and for this horizontal pipe, we'll consider two sections. So that is section 1 and section 2. So the distance between these two sections is L. So we'll consider the two sections of this horizontal pipe. So one is section 1 and section 2. So and the distance between these two sections is L. So and here, so we'll consider, so P1, V1 are the pressure, velocity at section 1, and similarly P2, V2 are the pressure, velocity at section 2. Okay, so and L is the length of the pipe. So L is the length of pipe between section 1 and section 2. So similarly D is the diameter. So and here, see whatever this section 1 and section 2 is, let's see if this P1 and P2. So where it will act? So it will act, so the will consider, will show it in a figure. So this is a P1 and this is a P2, and the diameter is D. Okay. So here we'll consider F dash. So F dash is the frictional resistance per unit area at unit velocity. So we'll consider the frictional resistance as F dash. So F dash is the frictional resistance per unit area per unit velocity. Okay, so and the equation is denoted with the symbol HF. So that is HF is the head loss due to friction. So the equation, whatever the equation, that is head loss due to friction in pipes, so we'll indicate with the symbol HF. So HF is the head loss due to friction. So we are going to obtain the equation for this HF. So here what we have to do, so whatever the sections we have considered, the first step is, see whatever the section 1 and section 2 we have considered. So for that section 1 and section 2, so the first is we have to apply the Bernoulli's equation. So hope you remember Bernoulli's equation. So for those two sections, so we have to apply the Bernoulli's equation. So the Bernoulli's equation is, it is P1 by rho g plus V1 square by 2g plus Z1 is equal to P2 by rho g plus V2 square by 2g plus Z2 plus what we are deriving. So what is going to happen due to the resistance between the fluid particle and the wall of the pipe? So the loss is going to occur. That loss is HF. So as you see here, it is an horizontal pipe what we have considered. So as it is a horizontal pipe, so the Z1, the datum heads will remain same. So it will be Z1 is equal to Z2 because of horizontal pipe. And also, so V1 is equal to V2 because so throughout the flow the velocity will remains same. Okay, velocity is same throughout the flow. So if we substitute that, we will get the equation. If you substitute these two in this above equation, so we will get the equation, that is P1 by rho g, because here Z1 will get cancelled, Z1, Z2 will get cancelled. I'll just rewrite once again. So V2 square plus Z1 is equal to P2 by rho g plus V2 square by 2g plus Z2 plus HF. So Z1, Z2 will get cancelled, V1, V2 will get cancelled. So we will get an equation. So that is P1 by rho g is equal to P2 by rho g plus HF. So we'll send this P2 to the left hand side. So HF you will get P1 by rho g minus P2 by rho g. So which is nothing but P1 minus P2 divided by rho g. HF is equal to P1 minus P2 by rho g. Okay, so we'll name this as an equation number 1. So we'll name this as an equation number 1. So after applying the Bernoulli's equation, so we got the equation number 1. That is HF is equal to P1 minus P2 by rho g. So here in this equation, so we have to find out what is this P1 minus P2. So to find out what is this P1 minus P2, so we have to consider the equilibrium of forces. So as we know, as we have considered, I'll just rewrite the figure here. See, as we have considered two section 1 and section 2. See, at section 1, P1 will act, and at section 2, P2 will act. So those are the two pressure forces. So to calculate this P1 minus P2, what we have to do? We have to consider the equilibrium of forces in the direction of flow. So which will consider the direction of flow as x. This is the direction of flow. Okay, so we have to consider the equilibrium of forces. So what are the forces which acts? So we have, whatever the two sections we have considered, so at those two sections, so P1, P2 will act. So those are the two pressure forces which will act at section 1 and section 2. I'll just name first what are the forces, so which is going to act. So there are three forces which is going to act. So the first one is pressure force at section 1. Okay, so that is P1 into A is the pressure force at section 1, and second one is P2 into A, so that is the pressure force at section 2. So we have a basic formula, that is intensity of pressure. Intensity of pressure is force by area, pressure force divided by area. So the force is equal to pressure into area. So the pressure force F is equal to P into A. So we have applied the same here. So it is P1 into A is the pressure force at section 1 and P2 into A is the pressure force at section 2. So the another force which will act, that is the frictional force. Okay, frictional force. So which is going to act. So where it will act? So it will act here. F1. We'll name that as an F1. So F1 is the third force which is going to act in between the section 1 and section 2. As we know, so there will be a loss of energy due to the friction is going to occur once the flow occurs inside the pipe. So due to that friction, the frictional resistance is going to occur. So due to that, the frictional force is going to generate. So those frictional force, so we will consider as F1. So what is this F1? See, F1 is equal to, so the frictional resistance into area into velocity to the power n. So frictional force is given by, so frictional resistance, that is F dash, initially what we have considered. So as you see here, frictional resistance we have considered F dash. So the frictional force F1 is equal to F dash into area into, so velocity to the power n. So where area, here we have to consider only this particular area. So area of the flow between section 1 and section 2. So that area is, it is perimeter into length. The perimeter of this, because the length between section 1 and section 2 we know it is L. So it is f dash into perimeter into length into velocity to the power n. So where usually n will considered as 2. So we will get, so the perimeter of the fluid. Okay, so that is the wetted perimeter we are going to consider. Okay, wetted perimeter. So wetted perimeter means the fluid will wet the walls of the pipe. So we have to consider only that perimeter. So that perimeter is pi into d. So pi d is the perimeter. So it will be F1 frictional force F1 is, so F dash into pi into d into L into V square. So total there are 3 forces which is going to act in between these two sections. One is pressure force at section 1, pressure force at section 2, and another one is frictional force. So now we'll just apply the equilibrium of forces. So in the direction of the flow, so if you consider the equilibrium of forces, so you will get an equation. So here you can see P1 is acting towards right, so it is plus, so plus P1A, and P2 is acting towards left, so it will be P2 into A minus P2 into A, and F1 is also acting towards left, so it is minus F1 is equal to 0. Okay, so here you can take it A outside, so it will be P1 minus P2 into A minus, so this F1 will send to the right hand side, it will be P1 minus P2 into A is equal to F1. So here we'll substitute F1. So what is F1? It is F dash into pi or F dash into P into L into V to the power n. Okay, so it will be F dash into pi into P into L into V square. So and so here, so now P1 minus P2 is what? From this, see the ultimate point is, see whatever this equation number 1 is there, we have to substitute what is P1 minus P2. So for that only we have considered the equilibrium of forces. So from this P1 minus P2 you will get F dash pi P L V square divided by A. Okay, so this will substitute, this we will substitute in equation 1. Okay, so if we substitute this in equation 1, so equation 1 is HF is equal to P1 minus P2 by rho g. So it is P1 is what? F dash pi PL V square divided by rho g is there, and A again will go to the denominator. So here, so in this equation, so we'll substitute. So what is the perimeter and what is the area? So perimeter is pi into d and area is pi d square by 4. Okay, so we'll substitute that. So we will get F dash pi you won't get it here. It is F dash PL into V square. It is the perimeter is pi into D into L into V square divided by rho G into pi D square by 4. So pi will get cancelled, D will get cancelled. So you will get 4 F dash L V square divided by rho G D. So you will get the equation HF is equal to 4 F dash L V square divided by rho GD. So that is an equation. So for head loss due to friction. Okay. And again here, so what is this F dash? F dash is the frictional resistance. Frictional resistance. So if we consider that frictional resistance, we have, so this frictional resistance F dash by rho G is equal to F divided by 2G. We have this F, where F is the frictional coefficient. Okay. So if we represent this frictional resistance in terms of coefficient, so F dash by rho G will be equal to F by 2G. So if we substitute this in this equation, so we will get HF equation, that is HF is equal to 4FL V square divided by 2GD. So this is the equation. So for head loss due to friction in terms of frictional coefficient, F is the frictional coefficient and F dash is the frictional resistance. See, in the problem they will give the frictional coefficient. So that's why the equation for head loss due to friction is HF is equal to 4FL square divided by 2GD. And here, see, for example, if F is not given, suppose the frictional coefficient value is not given, so then you can calculate this F. We have a formula to calculate that frictional coefficient, that is F is equal to 16 by RE. So which is if RE is less than 2000. So if RE is less than 2000, you can use F is equal to 16 divided by RE. Okay. For example, if RE lies between this 2000 or in from 4000 to 10 per 6. So we have, see, if RE is 4000 to 10 per 6, if it lies 4000 to 10 per 6, F is calculated using 0.079 divided by RE to the power 1 by 4. So we have, so if RE is less than 2000, F is calculated by 16 by RE. If RE is 4000 to 10 per 6, then F is calculated using the formula 0.079 divided by RE to the power 1 by 4. So because we have a formula to calculate the Reynolds number, it is rho Vd by mu. Okay, because they will give the viscosity, velocity, diameter, density. So using this formula, so you have to calculate RE. So once you get RE, so you have to judge whether it lies between less than 2000 or 4000 to 10 per 6. So based on that, so you have to use this F formula, so to calculate the coefficient of friction or frictional coefficient. And once you get the F value, you can calculate head loss due to friction, that is HF is equal to 4FL V square divided by 2GD. So this is in Darcy's-Weisbach equation for head loss due to friction in pipes. So in today's class we'll stop it here, and in the next class, so we'll just discuss the next type of energy losses, that is minor energy losses. And before that, discussing about the minor energy losses, so we'll just discuss some of the topics like what happens to this HF value and the Q value when the pipes are connected in series and when the pipes are connected in parallel. So in the next class we'll just discuss that topic. So we'll stop it here now in today's class, and thank you.